G'day everyone, Craig here from Six Wheel Adventure Touring. I'm just going to remove this hub and then we'll swap it over to this one, the intermediate axle one, because I'm going to be putting a freewheeling hub on the back here. So I'll remove my outer cap and then I'll remove my circlip. So I might have to just move that bit of silicone out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so remove my circlip. Put them both in that box there so they don't get lost. I don't need to remove my axle because I'll be pulling the hub off. So, remove my hub. I'll just tap that with a hammer, I won't be a second. Sorry about that, I'm back. So, remove these bolts, stick them somewhere safe. And now I'll just break the silicone on that, and we'll remove the flange. Sit that there to try and catch a bit of the oil that will come off. So that flange now will get used on the intermediate one. I've got another brand new, he's sitting in the my spare parts box inside the truck, but I don't want to use that because I want to save that for, there we go, that'll go on there as my spacer, and then my freewheeling hub will go on there, because these ones had a different size depth from there to there. As you can see, they're only shallow there, and the axle actually bottoms out before it. So you need to, I needed to put a spacer to make the depth from there to there the same as that one. So I'll just get a razor blade and I'll clean the gasket surface up and we'll put it all together. I'm not sure where that cut out, but as I've said before, I don't mind the original flanges, although these should have been replaced, I just haven't got around to it. Reason being is they're the weak point. They're easy to replace. They're only 5 bolts and a circlip. I sprayed all the axle down with some brake cleaner and removed all the swarf off it from the strip spline. Checked the splines on the axle, they're fine, but you can see on the rag there all the iron filing from that coming off. Now of course I should, and I will, drop the oil in the diff and flush it and put some new clean oil in it, because that swarf will have gone all the way into the diff. If you've got a magnet in the diff, it should catch it all for you and hold it, but I'll clean the magnet on in the back of the drain plug, and I'll put some new diff oil in it. But for the moment, this is all going back together. So yeah, if this has helped you, or you think it may help you in the future, just like the video and subscribe. And more how-to and hint and tips and breakdown repairs will be posted on this channel. So Craig from Six Wheel Adventure Touring, saying have a good weekend. See ya. So, fitting the hub, I fitted the spacer on there that's similar to one like that. I've now pulled the freewheeling hub apart, and we shall fit that. So, I've got new bi-tensile bolts, which are slightly longer because of the fact that it needed to be for that. So we shall, new spring lockers also, so we shall put all these in and do a test fit and see how it goes. Now these bolts are just the extra length of the thickness of that adapter plate that I made up. So that should be absolutely fine. We shall soon find out, because I'm about to do my first test fit. I'll just put this circlip on first so that the axle doesn't walk in on me and I can't get at it. Now these rear axles, they float on the spline. They're not shimmed. The front ones have got to be shimmed because you see these, but these don't. They just float, and that's also partly why that wouldn't help with the wear rate. But, there's two, so that's seated nice. There's two schools of thought. Some people like these bearings filled with grease, and like the wheel bearing, and then they'll So some people like the wheel bearing filled with grease, and they'll run a seal between the bearing and the axle. The problem with that is, as the seal chews out, the oil will actually wash the grease out, or if the grease gets washed out, there's no oil. There's not sufficient oil circulating in it to keep the bearing lubricated. So you can remove the outer seal that's in there and then let the axle and the bearings and things all be lubricated by the diff oil, and then that'll help stop wear. And you're changing the oil every time. Like they're getting refresh oiled every time as the oil's circulating and being moved around the diff. You just got to make sure you keep your diff oil up, because of course if you ran low on diff oil, the diff might still be picking up some oil. If you've got a diff leak, that it may not make it up the end of the axle tube. So you want to make sure you keep the oil level nice and high. Anyway, we'll put it together some more. Now, some of you may be saying to yourselves, why run freewheeling hubs on the back? So I'll explain. When we're driving in with the centre diff lock not engaged, the centre diff lock actually has like a vacuum actuated lever that engages the centre diff and locks it. Once that's locked, it also engages your third drive shaft via a rear PTO shaft, and that drive shaft engages 6-wheel drive. The problem with that is that when that's not engaged, even though the drive shaft theoretically isn't getting turned by the gearbox, because this is connected, hang on, I'll just jack that up. Because this wheel is connected via the axle to the drive shaft, it's turning. And not only is it turning, instead of being driving the wheels, it's being driven by the wheels. So it's actually driving on the back face of all your diff pinion and stuff like that, because it's being driven by the wheels instead of driving the wheels. That's one thing. It's also constantly turning the rear tail shaft, which has what they call a double cardan joint, which is prone to disintegrating and causing a massive failure, destroying the back of the gearbox if you don't keep the uni joints in it all greased and in good condition. So if something starts to go wrong and you're unaware of it, or if your maintenance hasn't been up to standard, it may start getting a dry uni bearing in it, and then once that throws, it causes a lot of damage, thousands of dollars worth of damage. By doing this, when we're in all-wheel drive, so when I'm in all-wheel drive, this free spools. So if I turn that to 4x2 there, that, which is the shaft there, just turns. It doesn't engage, because as you can see, it pushes forward to lock. Let's grab this. Oh, you can see, to lock onto this shaft here. So if I pull that out, just take that off the holder. So on here you have your spline. So what happens is, if you imagine that pops forward when it's engaged, and you'll see that large dog leg there, that large dog tooth there, is permanently attached to there, but because it's locked, that is now locked. Alright, so that rotates the whole lot. But even though that's locked, if I unlock it, now when I remove that, you'll see that's pulled back. So what's happening is that just spins. So just give me a second, I'm just going to jack the wheel up a bit and show you. I just had to jack the wheel up a bit so I'd explain it. So as you can see now, that free spools. It turns independently to the axle. So as I'm driving along, that's just like a box trailer hanging off the back, spinning on its wheel bearing, and it does not drive any of the tail shafts or anything like that. And then when I need to, I get out. I mean, obviously it's 6 by 6, not 4x4, But when I lock that into 4x4, that slides out, and when it slides out, it now engages onto that there. Now, as you can see, if I push that on there like that now, and I try and spin, it's locked. I can't rotate the wheel. It is now, hang on a sec, I'll just put that in my holder to see. So I'm just putting that in the phone holder so I can show you. So now that is locked, I can't turn the wheel. When I unlock it, as you go, it'll spring out, and now I can rotate the wheel and free spool. So I'm doing no wear to my tail shaft bearings, to my sorry, had a finger over the lens then. Nowhere to the tail shaft bearings, nowhere to the uni joints, the double carbon joint. It may make a minute difference to fuel economy. It may also help not scrubbing the... So I made up these spaces just to act as a spacer to pull it out, which is exactly the same if it was a deep dish hub. That's a hardened steel, and I've put brand new high tensile bolts in there. So but I will carry a couple of spare hubs just in case something goes wrong. I can always pull these off. I'll also carry the original bolts so I can put the shorter bolts back in. They'll be in vacuum sealed bags so that they're always clean and free from dirt and dust and everything, and I can refit them in an emergency if I have to. Anyway, have a good one, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps get the videos noticed, which encourages me to want to make more. Alright, have a good weekend. See yous. Alright, I was just talking to myself again. Okay, so as you can see, that's turning freely. I'm in the 4x2 mode. It's not locking onto the axle. Rear tail shaft doesn't want to turn. When I get into terrain where I want to lock in 6-wheel drive, I'll turn that to there. You hear that click in and lock. And now, as you can see, it's trying to turn the tail shaft. So that will then give me 6-wheel drive. If I leave it there locked now, that's exactly the same as how you're driving it standard. That's all got the gasket silicone on it to dry. It's an oil-based purpose gasket making silicone, and I'll throw the spare hub in the old hubs in the toolkit and seal bags in case these ever fail and I need to put the old ones back on. Hopefully they won't fail. Alright, like and subscribe, guys, and have a good weekend. I'll just continue to clean up here, and as you can see, it makes a little bit of oil come out, so give that a bit of clean up with some brake cleaner, and give it a bit of a wipe over, get rid of all the oil residue that's on there, and we'll test these hubs out, see how they go. Hopefully that'll be a lot easier on the drivetrain, not having to drive all that spare tail shaft like the rear tail shaft. Alright, have a good one, guys. Like and subscribe. Bye.